Happy December 22nd, and welcome to MicroStrategy Today, the only daily show that's bringing you MicroStrategy's news, updates, and intel 7 days a week. Today's show is going to be awesome. Binance.US's ex-CEO joining MicroStrategy's board. Crazy news. The Wall Street Journal has something pretty interesting to say about MicroStrategy, the Wall Street Journal. And Adam Back also has something very interesting to say about MicroStrategy. We're going to get into that as well. Some great tweets, some great Saylor clips. It's all coming up. But remember, this is not financial advice. Do your own research. And here's the MSTR tracker. Stock price 364, market cap's at 88 billion. S&P 500 ranking 105 of 500. Bitcoin's price currently at about 97,000. 439 Bitcoin safe and snug within MicroStrategy's embrace. The Bitcoin value per share is $175 with a NAV premium of 2. The total cost basis is $27 billion for a unrealized profit loss of $15.5 billion for a 57% profit. Something new that's been added to this that I want to go over this really awesome is the debt servicing. This is when people say that MicroStrategy is over leveraged. Just call them nuts. The total convertible debt is $7.26 billion. The annual interest is just $34.6 million. And I say just, but relatively that's nothing because the interest rate is 0.476. And I think this interest rate, personally, I think this is going to be going down as Michael Saylor continues to issue 0% convertible notes. I mean, it's going to be a great 2025, my friends. So the Bitcoin yield to date is 72%. The quarter to date yield is 46%. That's for you and for me. That's yield for us, my friends. Really exciting things going on in this neck of the woods. Let's talk about catalysts. We are just one day away from the inclusions first day of the NASDAQ 100 of the QQQ. We talked about the Fed meeting in January. The estimated repayments for FTX is just 40 days away, and the earnings report is just 49 days away. Must see TV coming at us, my friends. So what was that Adam Back thing? What did Adam Back say about MicroStrategy? He says it's stupidly cheap. I repeat, Adam Back said MicroStrategy is stupidly cheap. This is a great article. I will link it up in the show notes. And I just love what he goes through here. Yes, it's up 488% on a year-to-date basis, but there's a huge reason why it's stupidly cheap in Adam Back's words. He talks about the MST X and the MSTU. Those are the ETFs that try to like 2x essentially and like 4x MicroStrategy's returns, and the issues that those have because of decay. And that's one thing that when people always post in the comments, well, if MicroStrategy is great, what about MicroStrategy 2x with like MST, X? And I say, hey, if you have a really strong belief that over the next few days, MicroStrategy is going up, you can make that decision to invest in an ETF like that. You can make a choice to invest in something like that. The problem is when you hold those for a long time and there's choppy action or there's down action, then up action, there's something called decay. And if you want to learn more about decay, just Google it. It's a very basic concept that just kind of whittles away at your overall returns. MicroStrategy, as this article points out, has no decay because it just operates differently with its Bitcoin reserves, with its investment thesis, with the investment assets that it creates. You are getting a leveraged Bitcoin play with no decay. That is the beauty of MicroStrategy, a leveraged Bitcoin play with no decay. I think I need to coin that phrase because that is pretty awesome. But Adam Back, thanks for pointing that out and also pointing out, yes, MicroStrategy is stupidly cheap. Let's talk about the Wall Street Journal having an article about the investing cult fueling MicroStrategy's ascent. Have fun staying poor. So here's just another example, and I don't have access to the Wall Street Journal because I don't read this, but I did see this headline and I just wanted to kind of point this out. This is just another example of individuals that missed the MicroStrategy trade. They're bitter. They have FOMO. They want it to fail. That was actually why, and I love all the comments that I had on yesterday's video from my father who finally jumped on the MicroStrategy trade. I said, Dad, I just want you to have a piece of this, because if you don't, you're kind of subconsciously rooting for it to go down so that your thesis of not buying was right, or that you can buy it cheaper than what I told you to invest at. And you're just missing this monumental upside that a lot of us think and believe is coming. And this is what you see with a lot of individuals in the financial world, the Peter Schiffs of the world, the Wall Street Journals of the world. They missed this. They don't understand this. They're mad. They're bitter. So they write things like this about how it's a cult, that we're a cult, that we just look at people and say, have fun staying poor. Here's my recommendation. Give people the opportunity to learn about MicroStrategy. Share with them this daily video that I do, MicroStrategy Today. Share with them the Bitcoin Standard. Send them MicroStrategy's Q3 earnings report. That Q3 earnings report, by the way, in my opinion, has really lit the light bulb of a lot of really smart people that I know that just have a lot of things going on, and they never took the time to sit down and actually understand MicroStrategy because they just didn't have the time. They wanted to understand it because they saw something special was happening. And it took that Q3 earnings report with the crude oil and the refinery example for it to really click for them. In fact, I was at a Christmas party last night, and it was me just explaining that, the crude oil to refinery to jet fuel to kerosene to gasoline to Bitcoin to MicroStrategy to fixed instruments to convertible debts to equities to options. It took that analogy for me just saying it for it to click for that person. And now they're going to go watch the Q3 earnings report. Just Google it. It's on YouTube. It started the 28-minute mark. That's where Saylor kicks off. That's what I always tell people to do, because that will help you with the light. These individuals right here, they don't get it. They're bitter. But listen, just give them the information and the tools. Give them love. Let's not use phrases like "have fun staying poor," because that's just going to alienate them more. That's going to wish even more for That's going to have them wish more for MicroStrategy's downfall, because now we're like mocking them as MicroStrategy is going up, 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 up over 2025, and they're just not experiencing that. So I think, this is the kind of example where they're trying to make it like an us versus them thing. It's not. It's just us excited for what we discovered very early. So congratulations to you. And hoping other people get this, because it's just going to be a benefit to everybody, the more people that understand this. This is a huge, huge news, by the way. Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy adds former Binance US CEO Brian Brooks to the board. There's a lot of good stuff in this article, and I'll just kind of focus on this tweet by Swan. Michael Saylor added Brian Brooks, former acting comptroller of the currency and CEO of Binance, to MicroStrategy's board of directors. This is a big deal. As comptroller, Brooks oversaw the entire U.S. banking system and is deeply connected. MSTR is about to, and then it's just the letter B, because that's it. I did check out the full tweet. So I will say this is huge news. This is big news. This is just Michael Saylor continuing to stack the deck, continuing to red pill people. We talk about orange pill with Bitcoin. Well, MicroStrategy is the red pill. He's continuing to red pill people onto the team. And this is an individual of Brian Brooks just understanding how amazing of a financial arbitrage and infinite money glitch Michael Saylor has discovered, and that this digital gold rush is happening, that Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy and you and me are way out ahead of this. We're ahead of nation states. We're ahead of pension funds. We're ahead of hedge funds. We're ahead of everybody, most people. And life is going to be good. And stacking the deck with individuals like this is just really exciting times. I'll link up this whole article in the show notes. This is just a quick article, but this isn't Ju Ki Young says MicroStrategy, the gateway connecting NASDAQ 100 and Bitcoin. And that's just something I don't want to get lost in the sauce here, is that MicroStrategy now is giving Bitcoin exposure to every single person that invests in the NASDAQ 100. Every single person. It's giving leveraged Bitcoin exposure, my friends. What a gift. What a gift they have, and they don't even know it. Let's talk about this tweet from Bitcoin Overflow. He wrote, MicroStrategy Debt FUD, and that's fear, uncertainty, doubt, is hilarious because no one ever pulls out a calculator. MicroStrategy currently has a leverage ratio of 17% of their Bitcoin holdings, with a target of around 25%. So MicroStrategy does not want to go over 25%. They've stated in the past. Right now, they're about 17. Meanwhile, in real estate, 500% leverage is normal, and FHA loans enable 2,857% leverage. But sure, let's FUD MicroStrategy. I mean, my friends, people, they just don't get it. They're so self-interested. They're so wrapped up in what they're doing. They're not willing to take the time, like Bitcoin Overflow said, to pull out a calculator. Let's talk about Chris Milas here. I love this guy. Too many people are focusing on MicroStrategy's short-term goal of leveraging debt to maximize Bitcoin holdings. Not enough people are focusing on MicroStrategy's long-term goal of leveraging its Bitcoin holdings to maximize cash flows. The latter is just as important and just as lucrative as the former. There's so many awesome things about MicroStrategy and what Michael Saylor is doing. Just the deeper you dig, the more excited you get. And that's what you're doing every day by watching this show. So thank you for that. Let's check out this tweet from Dan Hillary. He wrote, "The more analysis I have done, the more I have concluded that being positively exposed over long amounts of time is the highest expected value strategy. The people who made the most in Bitcoin forget they held Bitcoin in the first place. This applies to MicroStrategy, even more properly purchased call options. And even properly purchased call options. Those people, by the way, that just woke up one day and were like, wait a second, I just had an epiphany. I actually did get Bitcoin back in 2014. Those are the people that won the highest because they would have sold in 2015 and 2016 and 2017 and 20. They would have sold because it would have been unbelievably high amounts of money. But because they didn't, those are the individuals that absolutely blew it out of the water. It's the long-term thesis. So just wanted to share that with you. Nama Sita says, here's how I take Punter Jeff's 25-cent Apple stock message to the next level. I am that guy. I owned $10,000 of Apple in 1998, split adjusted at 25 cents, and sold it not understanding its true value. But rather than being a curmudgeon and butt sore about it, I use my personal experience as an example to my inner circle, my MicroStrategy family, to help them value Bitcoin and MicroStrategy as long-term holds as though they are at 25-cent Apple today. I learned my lesson the hard way, and I try to set it aside, my pride and ego, and leverage and share my mistakes to support my Bitcoin MicroStrategy, pilling for the benefit of those I love. For my loved ones, MicroStrategy is a precious opportunity. For me, it is a time machine of redemption for failing to value a good investment when I wore a younger man's clothes. So much power in these stories, my friends. And I'm going to keep bringing this to you because we've talked about this before, but you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. This is a fantastic Jim Rohn quote. I end my podcast, Entrepreneurs on Fire, every single day with that quote as well, because it's so valuable. It's so important. And right now you're surrounding yourself with me, with other individuals that I'm sharing with you here that are tweeting things like that. It's an amazing time and place to be. Now, I have 2 epic video clips that we're going to end on right here. Michael Saylor's Bringing the Heat. Take it away.
Human beings have tried different monies. We've used seashells. We used the giant stone coin of the Yap people. We used tobacco bales in colonial America. We've used copper coins, silver coins. We've used stone coins. We use glass beads. But the problem with a glass bead is when the Europeans show up and they can manufacture 1 million glass beads, the Europeans dump 1 million glass beads on the Africans, lose their homes and their livestock and all their wealth, and they're impoverished. So if you have weak money and someone else has strong money, if they can manufacture the money, like in the Pacific Islands, they use stone coins. Some European showed up in a ship and he realized that stone coins are rare on one island, but they're very plentiful, big stones on another island. He sailed to the other island, picked up the stones, brought them back to the first island, and enslaved everybody on the island. Normally, in most modern societies, the money doesn't break down as a medium of exchange. It breaks down as a store of value. So that means that, yeah, you can store money for 12 to 36 months or maybe up to 10 years in the dollar. You can't store it for a lifetime. So if you have some money, you can't just store the money. If you want to keep your economic energy, you have to gamble it or invest it. You have to speculate with it, or you worked your entire life, you have a certain amount of retirement, and now if you store it in the bank, it'll be worth nothing. So you have to go and invest it in the stock market. But if you pick wrong, you lose it. So we basically force people to be gamblers, speculators, or hedge fund managers if the money's broken, and the money is broken.
Well, there you have it, my friends. Another episode of MicroStrategy Today is come and it's gone. And I want to say thank you for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing. I love you, subscribers. Thank you for commenting. I love my comment section. I answer every single one. And thank you for just liking. I mean, the 98, 99% of just likes that people are giving is giving me the inspiration to keep doing this show for you. So keep those likes coming, keep those comments coming. If you haven't yet hit subscribe, make that happen. I would love to. This is not financial advice. Do your own research. And a big thank you to our sponsor, NordVPN. Thank you, NordVPN, for also supporting this channel and for protecting my online identity as well as my family's. If you want to protect your online identity and your families for just a couple bucks a month, visit the link in my show notes right below. It'll take you there. It'll support me. It'll support this channel. And I will keep supporting you every step of the way. Because remember, in the great words of Michael Saylor, there is no second best.